Council B.
I'm sorry, Councilman. My apologies.
Could you repeat that?
Councilor B present,
Present.
and our solicitor,
Chris Boggs from Mark Much, present.
our engineer or representative, Mr. Vescusko, and our finance director, Mr. Nakis Nick. Madam President, that's roll.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is the minutes for the following meetings of February. February 7th, workshop meeting minutes. February 10th, special meeting minutes. February 15th, special minutes for that meeting. February 17th, legislative meeting minutes. And February 25th, special meeting minutes. Are there any for February 7th, 2022 workshop meeting? Are there any corrections, deletions, or additions for those minutes?
Councilor, may I be recognized?
Yes, Councilor Roca.
Citizens Forum. Are we still having citizen forum at the end of the meeting and not the beginning?
We're going to adjust this meeting to have citizens forum both at the beginning and any particular specific request for the citizens at the end of the meeting. I spoke with our solicitor earlier today. For any of the matters that are going to be voted on tonight, it will be important to have any comments related to the agenda. That is standard procedure in councilmatic meetings. So, Ms. Roca, we will be amending this agenda to allow for public comment if it has to do with any item on that's going to be voted on tonight. The AP list, if you have a question or a comment with regards to that, you will be afforded that opportunity here tonight. Thank you, Ms. Roca.
So, just for clarity, are you saying after we review or vote on these minutes, there will be a citizens forum?
Yes.
Just to be clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Councilor Johnson.
In reference to the February 7th minutes on the mayor's report, it stated that crime is at an all-time low in Yeadon. If we look at the statistics, it does not state that. I just want to make that clear.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, would you please add that as an addition to the minutes of February 7th?
I also have some corrections on these minutes.
Yeah, I was a little confused as to what was done, what was said about the,
If you look online, the statistics for crime in Yeadon for the last, I would guess, 5 years shows that crime is not at an all-time low. It was higher this year, in 21, than it was in previous years. I just want to make that statement. You can look it up.
Can you go back to that?
no, that's not true.
Well, you can look it up.
And depends on how you categorize crime.
Okay, excuse me.
Yeah, this is not the forum to do that.
Okay.
I just want to make a correction to the minutes.
Well, no, if I'm wrong, my minutes and what I recorded stands as is. You can't correct my report.
I'm just stating that it's not an accurate statement.
Okay, that's fine.
And I have the right to do that.
But you can't correct my report.
I'm just stating that your comment was incorrect.
I disagree, but you can't correct my report.
I can report on it from what I've seen.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Mayor. Okay,
And it
Councilor,
is at a all-time low.
Councilor Roca.
Beginning with February 7th, 2022, the workshop minutes. Number 1, under Citizens Forum, John Holden of Gunther Avenue, blah, 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 of Yeadon supports council and their decision to move forward in a direction of progress and accountability for the community. That was not the statement. Number one, what was council's decision to move forward? What was the direction of progress and accountability? That's not even stated here, so that's not a collective council statement. So this is inaccurate. To be quite honest, I believe that particular resident was just in support of council removing Chief Paparo. It had nothing to do with actually written here, so that's incorrect.
Excuse me, Councilor Rosecloud, I want to, for clarification for the audience here tonight, any comments that are made by a citizen, those comments are recorded based upon what they said, not on the veracity or validity or accuracy of any public wishing to speak. Any resident wishing to speak, those statements are recorded based upon their making the statement. It's not our position here to change what they said. Our position here is to accurately report what they said. The contents and the validity of the content is not the job of this council. It is only to record their comments.
You didn't do that, that's not what John
So,
said.
excuse me, please, before we go any further, Councilor Rosecloud, I want to ask our solicitor, just as a point of reference, as to how these meetings must be conducted with a certain civility and a certain respect for the operation of this community. So, listen.
Stop gaslighting us, stop gaslighting us.
Right.
Would you give the decorum for the meetings that have been duly adopted by this council? There's an assumption that you will be respectful. You have First Amendment constitutional rights to be here, to protest, and to give your opinion. But there's also rights of this council and of this body to be respected and honoring this house.
There are also obligations under this body.
And sir, the outburst, we will ask, and I will ask the mayor respectfully, in order to conduct the business of this borough, it will be extremely important for you to abide by the rules of this municipality.
And when you do the same
Mr.
thing,
Mayor.
Exactly.
when you do the same thing,
You're
Okay,
saying
so you
that
cannot
what
speak,
you
you're out of order.
It's not what I
You're
heard.
out of order, you're out of order, Ms.
I'm
Johnson.
gonna be out of order until you're in order.
Okay. I am in order, Ms.
Amen.
Johnson, as you sat on this council in prior years.
I didn't do what you're
No,
doing, and I didn't work with you when I was on council with you.
Former counselor, you're out of order,
Oh, well.
Mr. Mayor.
If you
Mr.
give
Mayor.
me a chance to speak, I'll speak on two issues. Number one, what you just said, Madam President, that you just report things on council. It's not for you to opine or to correct something. People's views are their views. They're just accepted. How come the mayor doesn't have that same respect?
Amen. Yes.
No, I don't. I gave a report. If you think I'm wrong, my report stands as written. You can't correct the report in the minutes, okay? I made a report on crime, which I do all the time. I do it each week, I do it each month. That's what I do. That's my most important responsibility. I watch crime. I gauge crime, I judge crime, I report on crime. That's what I do. I've been doing this religiously since I sat in this seat. So so two things. My report stands as written. Crime has been on an all-time low, and it's decreased astronomically under Chief Paparo over the last 4 years.
Yes.
That's why I support him. That's why I support him. And secondly, I've had a lot of calls and people looking at me as the mayor to patrol these meetings, to have the police kick people out when they.
Didn't do it 4 years ago.
Exactly. My point is, it's the duty of the council chair to moderate the meetings, first and foremost. It's not the mayor, it's not somebody else, it's not the police department. The police department is called upon as a last resort if someone really gets out of whack. So 8 years ago, and I want to make this clear because the pressure's been put on me, and a lot of people on your side have called me saying, how come when you call on me, the police doesn't, either handcuff people or throw people out? Let me say this. 8 years ago, so I was in South Africa on vacation. I got a call from Chief Molyneux saying that you were delegated for me to be the acting mayor, okay? And he said, Madam President demanded that I throw somebody out the meeting, kind of lock them up, and I disobeyed her order, because that's not what we're about. The police shouldn't be used as a tool for hooliganism and for pitting neighbors against neighbors and throwing people out and locking them up. We don't want to resort to that type of situation. Wait a minute. No, you can speak to it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and he said he wouldn't do that. When I came back, he said he was insubordinate, that he didn't. I said, look, you put him in a situation where you told him to lock somebody up or to throw somebody out of the meeting. He didn't think that that was necessary, and that was misusing and abusing the authority of the police department for personal gain. We can't do that. It's the responsibility of the chair, first and foremost, to conduct the meetings, okay? For 4 years, that never happened. You've asked me to have the police department disconnect cell phone devices, electronic devices. That's not the job of the police. And for 4 years, we never saw that happen. People misbehaved. People got out of line. But the council chair handled it herself, okay? And when push came to shove, she either asked the borough manager or the solicitor to do that, never the police. We don't weaponize the police and pit them against neighbors and residents. We don't do that. That's not the type of community that we want. Okay? And Madam President, for 4 years, I didn't always agree with her, but she knew how to run a meeting. It is your responsibility to run the meeting. And I said that to somebody on your side that called me up, and then they said, well, they don't respect the president. I can't forge your respect to earn your, you have to earn respect of the people. Okay, so you put that on me, and then you make me look back and said, Mr. Mayor, as if I didn't do anything. Well, you're the one that runs the meeting. Don't put that on me and the police department. For every moment, when something's objectionable, you called me to get the police involved. That's not how this should be run. And I want to make that clear.
Okay. Now, for all of the
Madam
residents
President, I have a
that,
question.
excuse me.
I have a question, Madam President.
Yeah, I have the floor. I'll recognize you.
Question.
I'll recognize you in just a moment in
Okay.
this meeting. In my response to the mayor, I'm not going to give a long dissertation on the response to the mayor, but from the year 2000, I have served on this council a total of 14 years. Prior to the mayor being elected, the past mayor, Mr. Mullen, I've served diligently for those 14 years in 3 different decades. Never have I encouraged Chief Molyneux, whom I've known for over 30 years, to ask to arrest anyone or throw anyone out of a meeting. That is not true.
Point of
That
order,
is-
point of
excuse
order,
me.
point
That
of
is-
order, please.
and
Can we
I
get
am-
back to the business
Excuse me,
here?
yes, this is the business.
And you did ask Chief
Ma'am,
Molyneux
this
to throw
is-
someone
ma'am,
out. It
this-
was me that you asked him to remove. So
After-
you did. So
after-
you're telling untruths again.
Excuse me.
So do you
Counselor-
want to get back to the
Counselor-
business? This is a
Counselor-
Friday night. I really don't feel like being here. We should have had
Counselor-
this meeting when we were supposed to have this
Counselor-
meeting 2 weeks ago.
You are out of
Look,
order.
No, you're out of order. I don't want to
You're out of
hear your
order.
dissertation and your stories. I want to get to the business so
not-
I can go and do what I need to do. I have a life.
Ma'am, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do.
We need to get back to business. Back to business. Nobody wants to
No,
hear
ma'am.
your
No,
stories.
ma'am. No, ma'am.
Nobody wants to hear your stories.
That's your story.
Nobody wants to hear your story.
You are out of order.
You're out.
You're out of order.
Let's
Ms.
get back to
Lopez.
Stop
business.
gaslighting, Sharon.
The order of this council is to be done orderly, and just like you have a right, Mr. Mayor and Ms. Roadcloud and anyone else that are given the floor or given permission by this council, you were very correct in that it is my responsibility to keep this meeting going. It is my responsibility to get through this agenda tonight. It is my responsibility to respect you, but you don't get the right to disrespect the council because you disagree with this council. You have a right to express yourself, but you do not have the right to disallow me to manage this meeting and to get the business of this
Well, let's get
community
to the business
done.
now.
And I will determine what that is.
Let's get to the business
That's,
now.
I will determine what that is. I stand firmly that when there is disorder in the audience, and I ask the mayor to have his police chief or acting to remove someone from the meeting because they keep disrupting and interfering with the conduct of business, that is what I am supposed to do. And I am not confused about what I'm supposed to do. And if you are disorderly, whether you are in the audience, we do not have the right to remove a counselor from this meeting. But we can give the decorum and give the code of conduct that should be respected in every meeting. So I'm going to ask the solicitor before Ms. Beatty to please give us a brief overview of the decorum here for tonight. Thank you.
We are grown-ups here. We know the decorum.
And you're still out of order, Ms. Roadcloud.
We are grown-ups.
You're still out of order.
We are grown-ups.
Sir,
We do not
for the
need the
benefit.
solicitor to read from a book. We know the decorum.
Well, if you knew the
Respect
decorum,
is due
you
to
would
a
be.
dog. If you
Okay.
give it, you will get it.
If you were not out of order, we wouldn't need to do this. Sir, would you please proceed?
Mr. Solicitor, no one wishes to hear you recite from the book.
Amen.
At each meeting,
Not going to read. I will simply refer to a resolution from 2020 that was passed by and signed by President Monroe. It's 11 pages. It outlines the decorum. It's up on the website. It is essentially
Thank you.
the Robert's Rules of Order and a couple of codified respect sentences, but I think that everyone knows.
and we do.
And we do. We are not children.
Ms. Beatty, you have the floor. Councilman
Thank you.
Beatty.
I just had a quick question about the live stream. Where is it? Because it's not showing up on Facebook. So is it on the real Facebook page or the other Facebook page? Because it's not.
I'm not sure.
So because we're supposed to be providing that. That was
And in
something-
addition to that, thank you, Councilor Beatty. In addition to that, I've noticed that I have been blocked from the password for the Wi-Fi for the borough. And Mr. Dodson, you indicated you didn't know what the password was.
Not only don't I know what the password is, I had no idea that it was a conspiracy to block you from anything.
Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say it was a conspiracy.
And more important.
I didn't say it was a conspiracy. I said that I was blocked.
Strike the comment. I had no idea that you were blocked from anything. And according to the Sunshine Act, we can record the meetings and upload it to our channel and to YouTube.
But the meeting,
But, ma'am, let me
Sure, it's not.
continue. There is nothing that says that we have to live stream or Zoom the meeting according to the Sunshine
it was
Act.
voted on
voted
January
on it.
3rd. We voted on it January 3rd. It's in the meeting, in the minutes. It's in the minutes, the legislative minutes that were voted on and approved. January 3rd.
How do we know it won't be censored when you put it online?
Right. We voted on that.
January 3rd.
And that was something that we promised residents that we would provide for them, access to the live stream on Facebook. That was what y'all wanted. We said Zoom. So it was
Yeah,
voted
that's
upon.
true. That is true.
All right then. So we gotta do what
We
we
need to
said.
reschedule this meeting then. If you're not
Not
following
rescheduling.
the code that you.
So this is just
Okay.
being taped
Excuse me.
for YouTube. Okay.
Okay, yes.
Mhm.
That's what the. that's
Well,
what
just
it's
because I don't have the
report.
password for the Wi-Fi for the borough doesn't mean it's gonna stop anything. I'll just get a
I
hotspot.
will, Mr.
Okay,
Madam Counselor, I will do anything, I will do in my power.
I
to
just don't
get you the
understand.
Okay.
I just want you to understand that it is not my intention to harm you as an elected official in any way.
Mr. Dawson,
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
let him apologize.
I'm apologizing.
Mr. Dawson.
Oh,
Okay,
goodness.
we're gonna move on to the minutes.
I'm not finished with my corrections because you interrupted me, and like I said, for January 7th, for February 7th, the comments made by that individual was not indicated on these minutes is incorrect. And maybe you should go back to the tape to look at it and find out exactly what was said, but that was not. So that was for that. I have more corrections. February 15th, look like, no, not February 15th, February 17th. The minutes for, legislative minutes for February 17th. I see under here, motion to remove Anthony Papara from his position as chief of police and appointing another officer as temporary interim chief of police. 4-2. Councilors Beatty and Roadcloud opposed. Councilor Monroe abstained. I do not recall that being correct. I believe Councilor Monroe did
Vote. She voted to not.
but I think, Councilor, and I was going to tell you that, she is present. Councilor Monroe voted no.
Stand corrected.
February 25th, special meeting minutes. It says, motion for Yeadon Borough Council to ban elected officials from using personal electronic devices, social media / meeting platforms during publicly held meetings in council chambers. Moved by Jones Waters, second by Johnson, motion passed. We need to identify the votes. Who voted yay? Who voted nay?
Corrections will be made.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, that was a reference to what, Councilor Ropan?
I'm sorry.
The last thing he said, that was, what was the vote on, about?
Banning me
Okay.
from using my computer. February 25th, special meeting minutes. Under Section 8, Citizens Forum, Lauren Footman stated she would like to keep Chief Papara. That is incorrect because, as we all know, our beloved chief was terminated on the 17th. So why would a citizen be asking to keep him on the 25th?
Because they listen to the recordings.
We absolutely listen to.
I think you need to check that. That's not correct.
Stand corrected, we will correct it, thank
But
you.
if it is, if it
If
does
it is, but
stand,
it's
if it
not,
does
okay.
stand corrected, if it's not, if it's what the recording has indicated, it will be in the minutes as the recording has indicated.
All I'm saying, the recording doesn't indicate that. Unless you have a special tape recorder.
Any other?
That's all I have.
Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
thank you. Next on the agenda is the mayor's report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam President. I have nothing else to add. Those were my two issues. And it came out in the course of prior discussion, so my report stands as submitted. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
You have to direct your comments to the chair, Councilor Brooks.
that's why I caught myself. Mr. Mayor, I read somewhere, I know we needed some part-time officers to be hired, and I read somewhere that the police department was being audited.
I was just told that by Madam Chair at the start of this meeting. I was not aware of that, but we do need police officers. We're in desperate need of full-time officers. There's still 5
Gee,
full-time
you
officers.
don't even look at one in the back of the room.
But still, that's a nice way. But we're still 5 full-time officers down. We need, we only have 1 part-timer, and we need about 10 in order for this to work. So we're critically low on police officers. I will say this also, that if you watch the news, like, you get criticism, this is my job, this is what I do. I watch policing, I measure policing against what's going on in the industry, and that's why I could make those decisions or that I do, or recommend the decisions that I do. One of the things that's happening around the country is that police officers are quitting. They're quitting and retiring in droves because it's become really harder after George Floyd, because you're suspected. Every police stop, you're the one that's criminalized and suspected, and it's who wants to be a police officer today? So around the country, like Philadelphia, I heard there are like 400 cops down. People don't want the job. So when you fire people, you do all these types of stuff, you got to take that in mind, because people don't want the job. And it's hard to get qualified people today, especially at this.
Then we vote on the floor for no following usage.
So we don't, but anyway, I don't want to create any controversy, but we need part-time.
Then you guys vote on the floor for no phone usage. The chair is not setting a good example.
You're out of order, Ms. Johnson.
So we do need, honestly.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, we do.
So
need-
right
we do need
now, we
part-time.
cannot move forward with respect to hiring police officers.
I don't see why we can't. And the fact that there's an audit has nothing, it's like saying,
Right.
there's an audit on your finances for past, so you can't spend any money.
Is
And you
your-
gotta shut down shop in the borough.
Is the civil
So it doesn't make
service,
sense.
is the civil service commission up and running?
As a borough manager,
If you
we
don't
do-
know, it's okay.
Yeah, we have the 4 people, but to my knowledge, again, they're independent and they haven't met.
You had 4 people?
I mean, 3 people, sorry. I
Three?
misspoke. 3 people, I believe.
Yes,
Well,
it's
who are the
correct.
3
Who
people?
are the 3 people?
Okay, excuse me, Counselor,
I'm sorry.
we're
Council President.
gonna move, Mr. Mayor, from your back and forth dialogue. It's gonna be important to move on to,
We're talking about the hiring of
We're going
police
to-
officers. We're talking about the hiring of
Excuse me.
police officers.
Excuse me. We have I've spoken with our acting chief, I've spoken with the mayor with regards to not entertaining a motion tonight to hire 3 additional police officers, or 4. And the reason for that is because we have requested, in the transition of this police department, we have requested by the CID of the district attorney's office, who have offered to do an operational audit with regards to any best practices, any other information that can be derived from the police department to make the police department more efficient, or what have you. I don't have that report. That report was ordered, and that report, we're expecting to get a copy of that when it's completed before our next meeting. So that is what has to be done there. I did share that information with our acting chief, I did share the information with the mayor,
Just
and
now.
as the information is provided, we will then share that information with you.
So,
So that-
just so I
so
can
that-
understand, so,
Professional, I disagree that the CID audit, that's great. That can only help, but it has nothing to do with what our needs are today. If they come up with a recommendation, we change it to what their recommendation is. It's like saying that there's an audit on the borough right now, so because there's an audit, you can't spend money, you have to shut down shop until the audit's completed. It doesn't make any sense. We need police officers.
so with respect to the audit,
So one has nothing to do with the other.
and I understand it.
You're fusing and linking something that doesn't. Again, not asking my professional experience, doing what you want to do, not asking the mayor. We do need police officers. And you put the borough in jeopardy. This is my job, to protect the residents of this borough.
So with
And
respect
each
to,
day that we're
Councilor.
understaffed, you put the borough and the residents at risk.
So with
Councilor Johnson, you have the floor.
no, I still have the
No,
floor.
you do not
No,
have the
I
floor.
do.
You do not have the floor.
This has to do with public safety. I'm asking questions and I want answers, and I'm sure the community wants the answers. I'm not, because as you share the information, as you share the information with everyone, I wouldn't have questions right now. No, I have the floor.
You do
Mr.
not
Mayor,
have the floor.
with respect to the audit, with respect to the audit, did you know about the audit? When did this come up?
The audit,
When did it come
I
up?
found out about the audit 30 minutes ago when Madam President just told me.
And the audit has
30 minutes
already
ago.
taken place. Has the audit already taken place?
I've not been apprised of the audit. I don't know.
So you're the chief commander
Right.
of the police department, and you know absolutely nothing
Correct.
about an audit being done in your department.
Correct.
Why is that?
Correct. 30 minutes ago, I found out about the audit. Yes, you question that.
The mayor don't know about it. The mayor don't know about it. They want to privatize the police
Listen,
department
they
now.
fired the chief without asking me.
Yeah.
They're making all the
And they're
decisions
continuing with
about
the
the police
nonsense.
department
They're
without the person
continuing with the
that
nonsense.
Yeah, after the fact, after the fact. Yes, it is true. You made a decision to fire them, yes, it is true. You made a decision to fire the chief without
Decided in
talking.
November you
Yes.
were gonna fire him.
Way back in November.
Okay. Ms. Johnson, you have.
So now we're not gonna hire police because they feel like they need the results of the audit first. That's what it is.
And I disagree with that decision.
Of this meeting. We're going to call for a recess.
So you basically.
No police officers don't want to come here.
Public safety.
Listen.
No police officer.
Just disregard the.
No ethical police officer is gonna want to come here.
No, come on.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Councilor Johnson just asked me how many part-timers do we have on the force? One.
One part-time.
And how many did you say we needed?
Ideally, we need at least 10
We need 10 part-time.
part-timers, yes, ideally.
Sharon said that you can just ask the union and they'll just send help. That's what she told you. They'll just send help and just call them up and say, oh, I need help. I would have just provided it. Why don't you do that?
We're five
You need
full.
to not talk from the audience, please.
I
You
heard
keep
that.
interrupting people.
What do we?
You left. You shut down the meeting when I was talking last
Stop
time.
talking from
Y'all
the
walk out on me.
audience.
I'll get my comments in when I can because you're just gonna leave.
We're
And
five
adjourn the
full-time.
meeting when I'm talking.
We're five full-time officers down.
Okay, go ahead, Mr.
We're
Mayor,
five.
what you're talking about, how many officers you
This
have.
borough is being ran as a mom and pop shop.
What are we, 21, right? We have 21 full-time officers.
I know,
and
Ms.
five-
Beatty.
Five down, so
I'm trying to
that
get
would make it
through
16.
the agenda, please.
I believe it's 16.
How many officers?
Currently, we have 16 full-time officers.
And how many should have been?
21?
21.
21.
Why do I know that? And we need 10
All right.
part-time.
So we're 5 full-time officers down, which we save money by, but that's another thing.
Okay, Mr. Mayor.
But, and we need about 10 part-time, we need about 10
Mr. Mayor, we need to move forward.
part-timers.
And you fired the best
Mr.
officer we
Mr. Mayor,
had.
we need to move forward. For the president's report from our workshop, I want to mention,
Did you finish with the minutes? I don't think they've been approved,
oh, yes,
if I'm not.
thank you, thank you. With the minutes for both February 7th, 10th, 15th, 17th, and 25, we've had additions added to the minutes and other clarification. I'd like to get a motion to approve, since we've completed all of those minutes, I'd like a motion to approve them with the standing corrections or deletions or additions to those minutes from this meeting. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. It's moved and properly second. It's moved by
Can you please identify?
Councilor Jones Waters, moved by Councilor Johnson.
Second. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second to accept the minutes of February 7th through 25th. All in favor, which indicate by raising your hand or saying yes.
Roll call vote.
Roll call
Yes.
vote, please.
Okay, on the roll call vote, Mr. Dodson.
Yes. Madam President,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Waters is no, she's here.
She's here.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes,
Councilor Roquel,
No.
Councilor Brooks,
yes,
Councilor Monroe. I'm sorry?
She said no.
Okay. Councilor Beatty,
No.
the motion passed.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dodson. For the president's report, we had mentioned at the workshop that we had a number of projects that are underway that are going to be voted upon on this meeting here tonight with regards to a beautification project, with regards to a newsletter that is going to be produced that will cover this first quarter of January, February, and March.
Oh, no,
And in addition to that, staying consistent with our, being consistent with quarterly publications, with
Is this the newsletter you're talking about?
I'm not going to answer you from the audience. Thank you.
Continue talking.
Thank you.
Didn't ask for an answer. Continue
So
talking.
we will have that will be rolled out. And in addition to that, the manager has a number of items that he'll be more specific with. We are also very much encouraged by the pandemic relief. We got confirmation from our state senator that he is still working to provide resources to the borough of Yeadon with regards to a recreational facility sometime being looked at and looking at feasibility studies for the same. So that will conclude my report here tonight. Now next on our agenda is the manager's report.
Madam President, my manager's report stands as is. I have no corrections, nothing to add.
Okay,
I
thank
have a
you.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
You have the floor.
Okay. So I do see on your manager's report with respect to the police department that we need to request 3 additional part-time officers, but due to an audit, which will be conducted at no expense to the borough, it has been delayed, right?
That's what that is correct.
Okay, and it says the audit will be conducted by the Criminal Investigation Division. It is hoped that the investigation will show the need for more diversity as well as the need for bilingual officers and overall inclusiveness. Is this a request that was made
It is.
to the CID?
No request was made to the CID. The CID is doing an investigation and audit, and the
Not
audit.
an investigation.
Excuse me, I said,
Uh-huh.
strike the statement, please. So the CID is doing an audit,
Operational audit.
and my statements are that our hope is for diversity and inclusiveness, nothing more.
You
So I
don't
don't.
know?
I'm sorry.
No, don't answer the audience,
Oh.
Mr. Dodson, please.
Still, you don't know, guessing, the borough manager, when are we gonna get a real one?
Was this
So,
a
answer-
concern that was relayed to the CID?
Yes, ma'am.
The concern
No.
that we need to be more diversified and we need some bilingual officers and overall inclusiveness? Or is this just your personal
It
statement?
is to be real frank with you, it is my personal statement.
Okay.
Could I?
Can I just
I can answer
suggest
that.
moving
I
forward?
can answer that.
Mayor, please.
Go ahead,
I
Mayor.
can answer that.
Mayor.
No, I could,
Mayor,
something
no,
was brought out on the floor.
Mayor.
Can I-
Continue, Mayor, we wanna
Mayor.
hear.
I
Let
want,
us get through.
Continue, Mayor, we wanna hear.
public, do you want to hear? I'm asking you to speak. I'm asking to speak. I'm asking to speak
Mayor.
because I can answer that question as to why there is a disparity of minority officers on the force. I can answer that. The officers are chosen, part-timers, doesn't have to go through civil service because it's not under the union contract. So we can hire part-timers as they come, indiscriminately as they come. The officers, full-time officers, has to go through the Civil Service Commission. Otherwise, I could hire my brother, I could hire my relatives, the process breaks down. Somebody could fail and I could pass them, okay? So it has to be independent from the civil service. It's a civil service job.
Right.
So we've done that, and I was chairman of the Civil Service Commission for 12 years. So I know the process. No one cares about diversifying the police officers more than me. It's not Isaac Dawson, it's not Madam President. I'm African American, I live here, I'd like to see more African American police officers. The three of us, when we went about this like 20 years ago, we tried to do that. We advertised the HBCUs, Cheney, Lincoln. We asked people. We didn't get that many African American candidates, and you have to go by the tests. So the first 10, we'll give the first 10. So it's a no-fault system, it's not based on race and all that, but we do encourage African Americans and females. But here's a problem. A lot of African Americans, I found out through my study and research, are more prone to defunding the police than to joining the police because we've been negatively impacted by policing and have an animus. Many of us to police it. That's the problem. We have to try to bridge that. But it's not because we didn't try.
Right.
It's not because we didn't
So
try.
our department is not.
Not only that, Philadelphia.
Mr.
Philadelphia
Mayor.
has the same problem.
Mr.
It's
Mayor.
a primarily
Mr. Mayor.
black town and it has many more white police officers.
Mr.
For
Mayor,
the same
Mr.
reason.
Mayor, I need to move on.
Clarity
Mr.
is,
Mayor.
it's not through any
Councilor
fault of
Rollcloud,
our
you do
own.
not have the
I
floor.
just
And it's not for
want-
lack of
You do not
trying.
have the floor.
And it's not for
You
lack
do
of
not
trying.
have the floor. You are disrespecting
No,
the
you're
chair.
disrespecting
No,
me.
you are
You're
disrespecting the chair. You
disrespecting
need
me.
to
No,
stop.
I don't need to.
You
do
need to
anything.
stop.
And this didn't take long. It took me 3 minutes. It didn't
We're
take long.
talking about diversity.
Mr. Mayor,
That's
we
what
have
we're
to
talking
move
about.
on.
We're talking about
Okay.
diversity.
That's fine.
So it's not through any
next.
fault of our
No,
own.
no, not at all.
That the department
We've tried.
is
We've tried.
okay.
And that's our
That's
goal.
what I wanted to.
Excuse me, Councilor.
That's what
Would
I
you
wanted
stop?
to clarify.
Okay.
Okay?
With the manager's report, Mr. Dodson, consideration to have Kelly Milo Architects conduct a feasibility study for the Yeadon Swim Club. Could you expound on that, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Are we talking about the Nile?
No, ma'am. I don't know why I'm addressing you, but no.
Go
ma'am.
ahead, go ahead.
So,
Please, please.
Madam President, as I discussed at the workshop, we employed the services of Mr. Choi from Milo Architects to do a feasibility study. It was proposed to do a feasibility study at the Yeadon Swim Club to see the viability of building a recreation center vis-a-vis a recreational complex.
Okay. I'd like to entertain the motion. Excuse me, I'd like to entertain the motion for the feasibility study as presented at the workshop.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Is there a second for the feasibility study? Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded by Councilor Jones Waters. The motion was put on the floor by Councilor Johnson. All in favor, would you
Are there
indicate by-
any questions?
Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Okay, Councilor Rowe.
My question, I was under the impression that a feasibility study was already done at the Yeadon Swim Club.
It was.
There is nothing, are you addressing me, Madam President?
Whoever has the answer.
Madam President, may I answer?
Yes, sir.
And looking through the records and asking the questions and asking people who have been here longer than me, particularly Mr. Nichols, we could not find any feasibility studies. What I did find was a study that gave us, that allowed us to know the value of that property and the square acreage. So it's 5.7 acres to that property, but there is no feasibility study that I could find. And therefore, we asked for one. And I asked one point of correction. I asked for the feasibility study before I was told that there may be a feasibility study. And in the same light, the same thing that was done for the Yeadon Swim Club was done for the movie theater property, as well as for the former bank.
Do we have any proposals with respect to this Yeadon recreation?
I'm sorry. If I may, we do have a feasibility study, because no one asked me, I definitely have one in my email, because it's conducted
So,
by an architect.
so I can hear what you're saying from here. I announced at the workshop that there was a feasibility study proposal, and had I known, and you were there, as I recall, if there was a feasibility study done, all you had to do was either email me or call me and say, Mr. Dotson, you can locate the feasibility study here, or I would be kind, excuse me now,
Okay.
I would be kind enough
Point
to
of
send it
order,
to you.
point of order.
Yes, ma'am.
No, that's not. So we have a feasibility study that Councilor Monroe has in her borough email, and I'm sure you can get a copy from her. She can forward that to you, and then we don't have to have another feasibility study done, which will save us some money.
In the event that whatever, okay, Councilor, yes. I'm gonna engage this discussion by saying that in the event that there is a feasibility study provided to this body that will include the clarifications and the verifications for what this proposal will do, we will have ample time to come back to this body and not complete the second one that's being requested now. So we do not have any evidence of that. Councilor Monroe was present at the workshop. That was not offered. We will not, because this is a time-sensitive matter, we can come back to this body and decide not to do it. So I'm going to proceed, I am going to proceed, Councilor, with the vote so that we're not further delayed.
No, I'm not. I don't
Councilor Harris. Councilor
I
Harris.
don't feel comfortable with that.
Yes.
You don't trust that.
Councilor Johnson.
That's what she says she
Councilor
has?
Johnson?
Sounds like you just want to give somebody else some money.
Go ahead.
Monroe a liar?
Go ahead.
Excuse me,
Yes.
if Monroe has a copy of the feasibility study, why don't we simply table it?
Table.
Give her a
Thank you,
certain amount
Mrs.
of time.
Johnson. Thank you. Thank you.
Take a limited amount of time to look at the feasibility study. can just table this for the moment.
That's
All
right,
right.
that's
I make
right.
a motion to table.
Second.
Okay, the motion is table.
And seconded.
We ain't do the vote
Okay,
yet, we
is
gotta
it-
vote.
The motion to table, we call for the vote to table.
So moved. You.
It's not,
You
we're
already
going
moved it.
to
Then
I'll
ask the
second.
one more
vote.
question. Let me entertain the question. The question that Mr. Isaac Dodson has presented to us here tonight is that the report that he found that was supposed to be a feasibility study only covered what the acreage was, but not for suitability to be built on. If what Councilor Monroe has that she did not present at the workshop meeting, or present or provide for this council before this meeting, I do not want to have this unnecessary delay. If, however, you have tabled it, we will call for the vote for that tabling, but what is important here is whether or not what is described by Ms. Monroe and Mr. Dodson here tonight it has the same requirements as the feasibility study by the architectural firm that has a proposal here tonight.
Maybe
Madam
you fire
President,
everybody, maybe you have
Council
the
Monroe,
engineer.
excuse me, may I ask Council Monroe a question?
We
Yes,
actually
you
have
may.
a motion on the floor, but we have a motion
No,
on the
go
floor.
ahead, Ms.
Can you-
But we have a
Johnson.
motion on the floor.
It is not being voted.
Can you
We're
please
still in
ask-
question, ma'am.
Can you
Go
please
ahead.
ask Council Monroe if the study that she has is for the total acreage and also the, what can be placed on that facility? Or is it just the, for the acreage?
Well, I don't recall it ever being a study. She never put no study through. The feasibility study was conducted by Ian Smith LLC, architect from Philadelphia, and it includes everything that you mentioned. No one asked me for it. No one indicated that we were doing another feasibility study. The first time I saw it was on this agenda.
That is not true. It was presented on
We
the
still have a
workshop.
motion on the floor.
It was presented at the workshop. And,
Why are we having a discussion? It's
I
a
don't
table.
understand,
It's
yeah.
a vote.
The motion to table is on the floor.
We need to rescind the motion for the feasibility study.
no,
Table.
So now, to give her advice,
it's being tabled.
You didn't,
Okay, I'm gonna call for the vote to table it. Ms. Waters,
The secretary called for the vote.
wait a minute.
would you,
What is happening?
Mr. Dodson, the motion to table.
The motion to table the vote for the feasibility study by name, Madam President.
No.
Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Waters,
No.
Councilor Roadcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Brooks,
Councilor Brooks.
Yes.
Councilor Monroe,
Yes, table.
Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries to table the feasibility study until verification of the other study. Okay. All right.
Good job.
The solicitor's report is about,
So, Council President, since the last meeting, the Solicitor's Office has been preparing with our insurance carriers the 3 lawsuits that are pending before the borough.
lawsuits, what?
So
What are the other
because that
Okay.
is best meant for an executive session, I'm prepared to answer any of council's questions, but I don't think that
Okay.
discussing the lawsuits in public.
No,
Okay.
would-
so we're going to,
But I do have some.
we are going to call for, excuse me, we're going to call for an executive session, would you meet in the executive session office, please? Okay.
Lawsuits.
3 lawsuits and 3 months. 3 lawsuits. You're doing great. Moving Yeadon forward.
The zoning hearing matter, we have a proposal from the law offices of Carl W. Ewald, SPC to the special counsel to the zoning hearing board, in addition to the zoning hearing board, with regards to the Restore dispensary that has filed an appeal against the decision of the zoning hearing board. The zoning hearing board voted to not allow the dispensary to exist on the 700 block of Church Lane.
You went back in time to do that.
As a result of that, the
Time travel.
Restore dispensary filed an appeal, which is their legal right to do, and that appeal is presently ongoing. So I would like to entertain a motion. Carl W. Ewald to be special counsel to the zoning hearing board and the representation, additional representation of the borough zoning hearing board. Can I get a second?
Wait, don't like when we have a lawyer already.
Second? Is there a second? It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Ms. Colette Brooks gave the
Thank you,
second.
ma'am.
I have a question.
Ms. Rolcutt?
I'm a little concerned. Carl Ewald is the same attorney that represented you and the citizens of Yeadon who initially filed.
Conflict of interest.
That does appear to be a conflict of interest to me.
To me too.
And me.
And the rest of us.
The solicitor explained in the executive session that there is no legal conflict of interest.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Okay?
May I,
Yes,
President, may I attempt to explain?
You can't explain it on the floor.
I'm sorry?
You can't explain it on the floor. It's a legal,
So why are you talking about?
I'm not, you have to answer whether she can explain it.
He's sitting right there, he can explain it.
Yeah, why do you explain it?
What is handled in an executive session is privileged information. So you do not have to, you can use that privilege. But as counsel, it is a political question, what you say out here in the public. But everything that is said in the executive session is protected.
I'm sorry, say that
Is
again.
protected by privilege. Everything that we said back there is protected by attorney-client privilege.
That's true. But I think the public has a right to know how this got started. Everyone may not understand
Thank you.
what's going on.
Thank you.
It might compromise the case.
That's a political
Cases are
question,
already
but anything that you say out here can compromise
Okay,
attorney-client privilege.
okay, I tried, okay.
Why don't we have a municipal law firm that can handle this? We have a criminal defense lawyer, now you're gonna bring your crony from the
Yeah,
state
that's,
legislature speech.
why can't
Are
we
you out of order?
No, she.
Why can't we have
You-
a choice to pick from? Why can't we have some solicitors with their expertise brought before us so that we can make an educated choice as to who would best fit to serve us in this lawsuit? Why is it that you get to pick and choose your friends and cronies? That's not
That
right.
is not true. I think it's several.
Well, I'm gonna tell you it is true. It is true.
Characterization, it is not true.
You know what, and I
It is
take it,
not
I
true.
had about enough for you today.
And-
Enough for you today.
And-
So this
and
is what I'm
so-
gonna do for
and
you.
so-
I'm going to adjourn this meeting right now.
You
You
can't.
will go. So now, you come up with another date. Yes, yes. Because you're a mess.
We no longer have a quorum.
We don't have a quorum, this meeting is over, let's go.
Gee, that's what you did to me last time. How's it feel?
We won't get a quorum, so
for the flyers that was drafted and mailed out to you, $2,400 for that. She was going to have you pay for those mock exhibits that they had at Chief Paparo's mock trial, almost $200 for that. Gary Core and Joel Avery ordered the stuff on behalf of them.
Yes.
Madam,
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Councilor Johnson,
Okay, Mr.
Yes.
Ms.
Waters,
Waters?
Councilor
You can't
Waters.
take a vote. You can't take a vote. You can't take a vote.
We don't have a quorum.
You don't have a quorum.
Did we pass the bills?
And I did not
No,
vote.
you can pass the bill. You can't
Ask
have
him
people.
for vote.
You can't, you don't have enough people.
You don't have a
have
quorum.
enough people,
You don't have a quorum.
What are you not understanding? The meeting is, once the council leaves, we don't have four
You
council
don't have a
presidents.
quorum.
You can't take a vote.
You can have 3 on electronic.
No, you cannot.
No,
You cannot. You're not present on
She was
floor.
still there, that's right, she was still right there, so, are you?
And I did not vote.
Are you voting yes or no?
She's standing
What
right
was
there.
the motion?
Here,
What
the
is the
motion
motion?
is to
She's not
retain
in the meeting.
Mr. Ewald. That was the special counsel. Yes. Okay, so her vote is no, the motion carries.
Well, it's going to carry it.
The motion carries. The motion carries. So what you don't have is irresponsibility with Councilor Wilson.
Irresponsibility, is that
That's
what
what you have.
It don't feel good when people walk out on you. But you
She's
do it to us all.
not doing the business of the town. She's not doing the business
Not
of the
listening.
town.
Don't care.
She's not doing the business of the town. Remember that on election day.
She is stopping you from embezzling money.
You a liar.
Next one, another one.
You need to look up the definition of embezzlement.
Yeah, okay, the meeting.
Embezzlement is a crime in which a person or entity misappropriates the assets entrusted to them. In this type of fraud, the embezzler obtains the assets lawfully and has the right to possess them, but the assets are then used for unintended purposes, like banners. Embezzlement is a breach of the fiduciary responsibilities placed upon a person. When you spend $2,000 to mail out libel, that is embezzlement.
Oh, yeah,